Okay, so this is another video on conic sections. To be more specific, we're trying to find out the standard form of the equation of the ellipse. And you have to recall what's the formula. Let's start by doing that. So the formula is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared, and this is equal to 1. And this formula applies when you have the horizontal major axis. Okay, so you have to recall that horizontal major axis. So, and there's another one. Let me put that in another color. Y minus k squared plus x minus h squared equals 1. And this is when this is equal to a squared, and this is b squared in this case. And this is when you have a vertical major axis. If you want to see how this looks, so this is basically what you have. If you have a vertical major axis, just a picture, right? I'm not trying to say that it's exactly like that, but just to give you an idea how it looks, it would look like that. So this is your vertical major axis, and that will imply that the distance from here to here is A, and the distance from here to here is A. And the horizontal distance in this case will be your B. So this will be B. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Let me make it bigger a little bit so you guys can see. So this will be B, okay? And this one will be B. Let me fix that. This will be B, okay? So that's the minor axis. This will be the blue one will be the major axis. And you have your foci line here somewhere. Let me throw that here. So your foci will be inside your ellipse. So this is your foci. You can call that F1. This is the one of the focus, and then the other one will be here, F2. Again, this is just to give you an idea where how this works, right? And also, your vertices are usually here. So I'm gonna call this P1, and I'm gonna call this P2. So these are like at the end of like your endpoints, basically, right, of your ellipse. And you can call this black dot here. Let's say that this is perfect and it's like very nice shape, and this will be your co-vertices, which you can call them like, let's say this is P1 prime and this is P2 prime. Okay, so that's the picture of an ellipse. Now, this is when it's vertical, when the axis is vertical. Now, what about if the axis is horizontal, right? So your picture will look like this. I know some of you are like waiting for me to solve the problems. I get it. I was a student at some point, and I hate when my teachers make a long story, but just hold a little bit because this is like important for you to understand. Now, if we have a horizontal major axis, your picture should look something like this. Okay, and in this case, this will be A, and this will be A, because now it's a horizontal major axis, so this is your length A. Now, if you want to find out what's your length B, it will be this. Let me change that color. This will be your length B. So this is B now, right? And at the end here, this will be your vertices 1. Here will be your vertices 2. This guy right here will be your co-vertices or your co-vertex. This is B1 prime, and this guy will be your co-vertex 2, and this I'm gonna call B2 hat or B2 prime, or you can label it whatever you feel. So that's the idea. And the C value of the foci, just keep this in mind. The foci always follow the vertices. Well, in this case, the vertex, B1. So the foci always follow the vertex. And in this case, it follows the one on the left, which is B2. So just keep in mind. And if it was vertical, if it was a vertical major axis, let me make this bigger. Like you see, like it always follow the vertices. The foci always follow the vertices. So just keep that in mind because it makes your life easier. Okay, so Also, if this A is below the x minus h squared, that means that this is a horizontal axis. If this y minus k, you see the a squared just below that, that means that this is a vertical axis. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so let's solve the problem. So what they say here, use the information provided to write the standard form equation of each ellipse. So what I need to do, what I usually do is, I like to label like these vertices and foci by letters. So I label these A's. These are my A's, and the foci are always my C's. That's how it makes my life easier. So if you look at here, right, they give us the vertices and the foci. And remember the relationship I mentioned before, the vertices and the foci. So what you need to do is, like, what I suggest you to do is, like, look at these numbers right here. So these numbers are not moving, they're fixed. So that means that there's no change in y. The only thing is changing is x. Like if you think about this and this, what's changing there? Well, the 3 is moving to 13. That's all, that's what's happening. So now you can tell right away, because these are the vertices, that you have a major horizontal axis. So let me explain you what do I mean by that. But that's the idea, right? You look at those numbers and you see what's fixed and what's not, and what's moving. So here I have 3, that's here, and then that's 5. 5 will be around here somewhere. And then I have 13. Let me expand this line a little bit better. And then I have, this is 13 around here, and 5 is here. So let me move this 5 here because it looks ugly here. This 5 goes here. And then if I draw my 2 dots, I have 1 dot here, I have another dot. As you can see, the y is not moving, but the x is moving from 3 to 13. That implies, you can tell right away that that's a horizontal major axis. Just look at these numbers right here, these numbers, this one, and this one. That will tell you if this is fixed, then you know that this is a horizontal major axis. That is like a hint, right? So that's the reason I labeled them A. So let's go back to that, to the whatever we're doing. So now I have to graph this, right? At this point, I know what's A. So if you know already that this is horizontal major axis, usually if they're not asking me to draw this picture, I draw a rough picture right away. So what I'm saying is this: I draw this right away. I don't think too much, and then after that, I think about, these are my A's, my A values, right? So I think about what is the distance. Let me put that in another color. What is the distance from 3 to 13? I think about that. So the distance from 3 to 13 is what? 10. So that implies that, remember, the distance from the center to one vertex is A, and from the center to the other vertex is A. Okay? But I don't want to think too much. I know that this length is equivalent to 2A. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that 2A equals that distance, which is 10. And now I can solve for A. So this is divided by 2. I get A equals 5, which implies that A squared is 25. So I found my A squared that I need for my equation, right? Let me move that like here because it's kind of too far. So I have my A squared is 25. So I already found it. So I have my A squared is 25. Now, they give me the foci, and we know that the foci always follow the vertices, right? So if the foci follow the vertices, the foci should be here somewhere. Now, look again, what is fixed? So these two guys, the y values you can think of, they're fixed. So they're not moving. The only thing is moving is these guys, the x values. So from 5 to 11, right? So 1 is at 5,5. If you think about it, this is 5,5. Sorry about that. Let me erase that. 5,5 is here. And then the other one is at 11,5. And that's here. So as you can see, now if I think about it, so since the y's are not moving, then these x's are moving. So the distance from 5 to 11, if I think about in terms of distance, the distance from here to here, they're saying is 6 units. So that implies that 2b, right? I'm sorry, 2c, not b, because I have c here. C. 2c equals 6. So if I solve for c, I get 3, which implies that c squared equals 9. Now you might say, but yeah, but in the equation you need b and a. How can you find that? Well, there's a little formula for this equation of the ellipse. You have to remember this formula. So the formula is a squared equals b squared plus c squared. And this is always true for all these ellipses, okay? So now what I need to do is just plug the values in. So this is a squared is 25, b squared, that's what I'm looking for, and c squared is 9. So if you subtract that in both sides, -9, -9, I'm sorry about the mess that I'm making, and I'm sorry about what just happened. Sometimes things just happen. And I can cancel that out, and I get b squared equals 16. And that's what I need, right? I don't need to solve for b because I need to solve for b squared. So I have my a, I have my b, so I'm gonna move this because this is the one I need. So I'm gonna move that here. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. So I have my a, I have my b, and for visual purposes, I'm gonna change this for you, okay? Some people, they get confused when I do this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna change this one here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna change this. Sorry guys, taking some time this thing. So here, I'm gonna okay. So I have b squared, and sorry about that. I think it will be easier for me to erase this. Okay, b squared it was 16. Okay, so b squared was 16. Okay, this is b squared, and this is 16. Okay, let's make it smaller because it's too big. Yeah. Okay, so I have b squared equals 16. I have a squared equals 25. And now I need to find out my center. So you might say, how can I find my center? Well, that's pretty easy. Look, if you think about the vertices, or even the foci, it doesn't matter. But let's use the vertices in this case. So I told you before in the beginning of the problem that the only values that are changing is the 13 and the 3, right? So we calculate the distance from 3 to 13 is 10 units, right? So if you think about like the midpoint between the vertices, that will be your center. So let me explain you really quick how that works. So the center will be, okay, the one that is fixed, which is the 5, that stayed constant. And now you need to find out what is the midpoint between those two numbers, right? Or what's in the middle if you want to think that way. So if I'm at 3 and I go to 13, half of that is 5, right? So if I count from 3 to 5, right? If I count from 3 to 5, let me erase that so I can explain to you clearly what I mean. So you have this picture, right? That was an ugly picture, by the way. So if you have this situation, right? And let's forget about the foci for a moment. We don't need a foci. So if I think about what is in between these 2 points, well, the 5 you know is fixed, but we need to find out what's the x value. So from 5 to 11, right? I'm sorry, from 3 to 11. I'm sorry, from 3 to 13, the distance is 10. So if you count 5, that would be the midpoint of that point. So if I'm going from 3 to, if I divide that by half, the 10, I'm gonna be 5 units away. So this value is a. So if this is 2a, this value is a, which is 5. So this is 5. So that means that I need to count from 3, 5 units. So I'm gonna end it up at 8. So this is the value of a. And at this point, I'm done with this problem because I have everything that I need. So the last part is just write the equation and you have everything. So the equation, we know that this is a horizontal axis, so this is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals 1. And here I need, remember, because this is a horizontal major axis, the a goes with the major axis, which is x in this case. So a squared was 25, b squared, sorry about that, b squared was 16, and I'm done. That's all I need to do. In the next problem, I'm gonna try to go faster, okay? But just recall everything that we did and take your time. Once you digest this one, like slowly, and then after that, it will be easier for you to do the next ones, and we can do the next ones like maybe in 2 minutes, okay? Okay, so let's do the next problem. So let me erase that stuff. We don't need that anymore. Here, so they give you the vertices, label them right away. So this is A's, right? And this is the full size. So these are C's. Now, you need to find out what's moving and what's not moving. Look, these numbers are not moving, right? So what's moving here? These guys are moving. Yes? So from negative 10 to, remember that the vertices are the A's. So 2A equals, what is the distance from negative 10 to 16? That's 26 units, right? So 26, and then divide by 2, A equals 13. Okay, and that implies that A squared equals 169. That's the number I need for my equation, remember? Okay, that's that. Now, I need to find out the C's. So again, the C's, let's check what's fixed. Okay, these guys are fixed. So what's moving? These guys are moving. So I can find 2C, right? 2C equals to what? Well, from 89 to 15. That would be what? How many units are from 89 to 15? 24? Yes? From 89 to 0, 9 units, right? And from 0 to 15, 15 units. 15 plus 9 is 24. Now you divide by 2 and you get C equals 12. Now if you square it, you get 144. And you might say, why I need C squared for what? Well, you need to find out what's B, remember? So now we need to find out what's B. So this is A squared equals B squared plus C squared. So what's A squared? 169. B squared, I don't know what it is. That's what I'm looking for. C squared is 144. If you subtract that in both sides, you get 25, right? So this is 25, is B squared. And I don't need to solve for B because I need B squared. Now you have, what else I need to do? Now at this point, we don't need this anymore. All this stuff, we don't need that anymore. Let me erase that stuff. So we need A squared, B squared, and C squared. And then after that, we can find the rest. Let's move this here. Sorry about that. Let me, okay. This is here. This is here. So I have A squared, B squared, and C squared. Now I need to find out what is my center. That's pretty easy. Look, center. What's fixed for my vertex? For my vertex, what's fixed was negative 10. Now I need to find out the y value and I'm done. What is the distance from, what is the midpoint between negative 10 and 16? So there's 26 units we said, right? For the, yeah. So there's 26 units from negative 10 to 26. I mean, to 16, that's 26 units. So half of that is 13 units. So if I move 13 units from negative 10, I'm gonna find the midpoint of the y coordinate. So, or in this case, the k value, right? So if you think about it, negative 10 at 13 units. So you ended up at 0 and then add 3 more units. So you ended up at where? At 3. So this is what you need to find for your center. And remember, this is HK. Now, what you need to, the last thing you need to find out is this horizontal or if this is vertical transverse axis. So what you need to do, we said that the negative 10s are fixed, right? So that's not moving. What's moving is the y coordinates. That implies that this is going to be a vertical major axis, right? If you confuse, you draw your picture. Draw your picture if you're confused. So this is from where? From negative 10. So this is negative 10. Well, let's plot that point, the vertices. So this is negative 10 for x. So the negative 10 is around here. And let's assume that this is 16 is around here somewhere. and that's here. And then the other point is negative 10, negative 10. So that will be around here somewhere, negative 10, negative 10. That's here. And then what I need to do is just draw the ellipse. So this is my picture. Well, that's not an ellipse, no. This is an ellipse. Okay, so I know already that this is a vertical major axis, and I told you before, I mentioned that, right? The only thing is moving is the y-axis, so we already know that. So let's write the equation. So we need y minus k, this is for the vertical major axis, plus x minus h squared equals 1. This is a, and this is b, right? Remember, you put the a with the major axis. In this case, it's vertical, so I'm putting with the y. So now I have what? Y minus k, this is hk, minus 3 squared plus x minus minus, that's plus 10 squared equals 1. What's a and what's b? Well, a is, let's see, 169, and then b is 25, and I'm done. That's all you have to do. Okay. So here, let's try to do one. Let me see if, yeah, let's try to do 2 more, and then after that, like, that will be it. I'm gonna do 1 more. So the foci is the C values, just label them right away, and the co-vertices. Remember, vertices are A's, co-vertices means B's. Okay, B's. Okay. Now look at the. You can look at the foci, because remember, the foci always follow what? The vertices, right? So in this case, what's fixed? The negative A are fixed. Do you see that? So now we can tell that whatever direction this goes, these x's are moving. That implies that this is a horizontal major axis, right? So if you don't believe me, you can draw the picture. Look, you draw the picture, and then this is negative 3, that's here, and negative A should be somewhere around here. Sorry about that, negative A is here. So that's that. And then the other one is, let me fix that for you guys. I feel bad, this is horrible. Sometimes I don't know how to draw. Let me draw this nicely, okay? So this is negative 8. I'm sorry if I'm taking long, I just want to make sure that you understand. Next time, I promise you, I'm gonna do it faster. Okay, so this is negative 8 and negative 3, so that's around here somewhere, that point. And then I have negative 9, so that's, let's put that in different color, negative 9 is here, and 8, negative 8 is here. So these are your C values, right? Remember the picture of the ellipse. It looks like this. So this is B1, this is B2, and the foci, they always follow the vertices. That means if that's true, then the vertices, they should be horizontal. Therefore, I know that this is the equation that I need is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals 1, and this is, let me fix this. This is a squared, and this is b squared. That's the equation that I need. Now, I need to find out the center. So that's not hard. Look, if we want to find out the center, we just basically have to find out the midpoint of the foci. So what is the midpoint of the foci? Well, you already know. The center is fixed for the y's. So this is negative a. That's easy, right? This is basically this guy. These guys from here, okay? And what else I need to find out? I need to find out the midpoint between negative 3 and 9. So you can tell that pretty quickly, right? If you like a little like clever, you can tell that that's negative 6 right away, right? Because negative 6, 3 units to the left, you will end up at negative 9. 3 units to the right, you will end up at negative 3. So you have your center HK array. Now what you need to find out is what? Your A value and your B value. Okay, so you know that the length of your C value from here to here, right, is 6 units. And this is what? C, right? So 2C equals 6 units. That implies that C equals 3 units. Now, if you do C squared, that's 9 units. So now you found the C squared. And you might say, I don't need c squared, I need b squared. Okay, let's do that. So these are the co-vertices. So those are the b values. Now look at it and think about what's fixed. This guy is fixed. So that guy is not moving. That guy is not gonna do anything. I need to find out what's the b. Well, what is the distance from -4 to -12? That's 8 units. So b equals, 2b equals 8 units, right? And if you solve for that, you get 4. That implies that b squared equals 16 units. Agree? So from 84 to 12, it should be 8 units, right? And half of that will be 8, right? And that satisfies the center, if you think about it, right? And also, the distance from 84 to 12 is, to negative 12 is 8 units. Half of that is 4 units. And if you square that, you get 16. Now, what I need to do is I need to write my equation. But you might say, you don't have A. Okay, but that's pretty easy. Let's find out what's A. So A, in this case, A squared, remember your formula? Is A squared equals B squared plus C squared, right? So what's A? So I need to find out what's A. I have a C, which is 9. I have B squared, which is 16. That implies that this guy is going to be 25. So I have A already. So what's the equation? The equation is x minus h, minus and minus, that's a plus, 6 squared, plus y minus minus plus 8 squared equals 1 all over. So since this is a major horizontal axis, the a goes underneath here, right? So the a squared, it should be, what is my a squared? 25 is above me. I don't see now, I'm blind. And then b squared, it should be 16. And that's the answer. You're done. Okay? Easy as that. If you can do it faster in your brain, then that's awesome. But I'm just doing it. Remember, I'm trying to explain. I'm not trying to finish it in 1 second. I'm gonna try to do a little faster, but I'm just explaining. Okay? Okay. So next number. I said I'm gonna do the last one, but okay, but let's do one more. Okay. Sorry, I just erase that because sometimes it makes you confused maybe. Okay. So the last one. So again, label them right away, C's. And these guys, major axis. So these are the endpoints of the major axis. That means that this is what? This is the A's, right? Because the major axis are the A's. So now, look, what's fixed? The zeros. They're not moving, right? This is moving. So you can tell that this is a vertical major axis right away. Look here, the X are not moving. Remember I said to you that the foci follows the A's? Look, they follow the A's, right? So if you draw your picture, I'm sorry, the picture, it means the graph. I just want to make it simple for everybody to remember, because when I say graph, some people, oh, I don't know what you're trying to say. Believe me, there's people that they don't know what graph means, so I have to say picture. So now this is what, a 0, and let's find the major axis first. So 0, 15, that's here. And then 0, 5, that's here, right? So this is my A values, right? 0 for X, and 5 for Y, 0 for X, and 15 for Y. Now I can find out what that is right away. So this is the distance of this thing is 10. That implies that this is 2A equals 10. If I divide by 2, I get 5. And that implies that A squared is 25, right? I mean, you can do that right away. Now, the C's. Can I find out what's the C's? Of course. The C's, I'm gonna put that in my graph as well. So this is what? This is 0 for X, 13 for Y. That should be here. And then the other one is 0, 7, that's here. And remember, they follow the vertices, right? So if I can draw my picture right away. Like, I know already what's going on. So this is my ellipse. Oh, it disappeared. I don't know what happened. That's a circle. That's not an ellipse. I don't know why that came out. Maybe they thought it was circular. Okay, so let me make that bigger so you can see it. So that's the ellipse. Can I find out what's the value of C? Of course, you can find out what's the value of C right away. So C is the distance from 7 to 13, which is 6. So 2C equals 6, C equals 3, which implies C squared is 9. You're done with C. You have A, you can find out B. So this is A squared equals B squared plus C squared. What C squared is 9. And then A squared is 25. We need to find out what's B squared. So that's going to be 16. You can tell, right? So now I need to find out what? I need to find out, let's see. I need to find out the center. I don't have the center. Once I find out the center, I'm done. So the center is HK. Yes? So this means that this is equal to what? Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have the major axis from 5 to 15. So we already know that the x-axis is not moving, so we can put that right away. And then what is the distance? We said that the distance from 5 to 15 is 10. So the midpoint, what is between 5 and 15? Of course, 10, right? So this is HK. HK, right? And I'm done. Now I need to write the equation. What's the equation? This is a vertical major axis. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. So this is a vertical major axis. So that's gonna be what? Y minus K squared plus X minus H squared equals 1. So what's A squared? A squared is 24. I mean, let's put that A squared here and B squared. Remember that A goes with the major axis. In this case, the major axis is vertical, right? So y minus K. What's K? So K, we found it. K was 10 square plus X minus, what's H? H was 0, so I don't need to write anything here. So I can just say that this is X squared and this is equal to 1. So A goes with what? A goes with 25 and B goes with 16. And I am done. This is my answer. Okay, and that will be the end of this video. I hope you enjoy this. I'm sorry if I go a little bit slow in the first video, and I mean in the first problem I took a little long, but I mean I need to make it simple for you to understand at the beginning. Now the next problems, the next parts, I'm gonna try to do really fast. Okay, have a nice day and I'll see you next time.